of the human being as time is going on. So man is therefore capable of seeking self-satisfaction, even if it leads to failure in his life, not only for him, for the family, and in the hereafter. So you know, the selfishness, this kinds of the behavior, you know, winds up not. It might be good for the person, but it may not be good for the family. So it's not good for the family. It's not good for the community, and that's where things start to go haywire. The path to goodness lies in harnessing the enemy within oneself. His basic self His basic self. Okay, let me see. The path to goodness lies in harnessing the enemy within him, talking about Cain, his baser self, by controlling evil through thoughts and deeds and practicing moderation in his desires and actions. His reward then would be the delight of this world and the hereafter. Thus, Allah tests us through our divide, divided nature. And we're talking about divided nature of good and evil, uh, selfishness, and obeying, good and evil. So there's this divided nation, this divided nature of us as human beings, and we have to make those kinds of choices. And it is said that this is not only good as far as this world is concerned, but also in the hereafter. Okay, so okay, let's see. Adam was in a dilemma. So Adam became in a dilemma. He wanted peace and harmony in his family. So he invoked Allah for help. Allah commanded that each son offer a sacrifice. Okay, so this is where we get to the sacrifice situation. Excuse me. Okay, so this is where we get to the sacrifice, which is a story that now comes in the Torah and the Bible. It said Adam was in a dilemma. He wanted peace and harmony in his family, so he invoked Allah for help. Allah commanded that each son offer a sacrifice, and he whose sacrifice was accepted would have right on his side. So Abel offered his best camel, while Cain offered his worst grain. So that's what, here again, we have this idea there that one offered the best and one offered the worst. You understand? So here it is. Abel was a he was a herdsman, all right, and he offered his best camel. That's what the story says. But Cain was one who harvested the garden, and rather than give his best grain, he gave his worst grain. The grain. Well, why should I offer that? Let me get rid of this grain that's been sitting for a long time, uh, that I've already piled up. So let me offer that as opposed to offering the best. I mean, it's logical. I mean, we can understand the logic of it. We understand the logic of it, but still, um, as far as the one who knows everything, the one who knows everything. Allah knew the intent that was in the heart of Cain, and who know what's in the heart of Abel. And Allah knew what they were doing, who was offering the best and who wasn't. So Abel offered his best camel while Cain offered his worst grain. His sacrifice was not accepted by Allah because of his disobedience to his father and the insincerity in his offering. There you go. The enraged Cain even further, realizing that his hopes marrying his own beautiful sister were fading, he threatened his brother, I will kill you. I refuse to see you happy while I remain unhappy. Um, Again, this is a moment of weakness that winds up happening because, look, we're talking about two brothers. We're talking about Cain and Abel, two brothers. And you know that these are two boys that grew together. They grew together. It's not like they didn't have love for each other at one time. But, as time goes on and you grow up, these selfish ideas can come into play. So much so, and we're not talking about young boys saying, I'm going to kill you. We're talking about grown men now saying, I'm going to kill you. These were men who had responsibilities, and they were brothers. And one had cattle, one had grain. And their father told them that they had to do something. And Abel said, okay, if that's what you want me to do, Pop, I'll do it. Whereas Cain said, yo, I don't want to do it. So this is where the selfishness come in. And so um, Adam, seeing this, didn't know how to handle it. So he asked Allah, look, I'm in a situation here. What should I do? And so Allah winded up putting Cain and Abel to a test. And the test he put them to, he told both of them to make a sacrifice. You know, that's it. Just make it best, just like that. Tell both of them to make a sacrifice. So, depending on the heart, depending on the heart, Abel makes his sacrifice and he gives his best, while Cain makes the sacrifice and he gives his worst. And so, the one who knows everything, the all wise, the all knowing God who created them, who allowed both of them to exist, knew what was in their heart. And when he knew what was in their heart and they made the sacrifice, then it became clear. It became clear. And so Cain, again, being selfish, was even pissed off at God. It's like, yo, because he didn't see the bigger picture. He didn't see the bigger picture. He couldn't figure out his own selfishness. He couldn't figure it out. He didn't figure the selfish part of it. It was all because when being selfish, all he could think about was what he wanted. And when he gave his sacrifice and his sacrifice didn't work, then he got pissed off at God for Allah's sake. But like Cain didn't see that, and so in a fit of rage, he threatened his brother and said, I'll kill you. I don't know how it went, but I hope his brother didn't, jug with him. Your sacrifice wasn't accepted. I hope his brother didn't do that because that might have got Cain to the point and said, yo, man, I'll kill you. Because I'm not gonna let you, I'm not gonna let you be happy. And first of all, you got my beautiful sister, and now your sacrifice was accepted, and you're gonna joke me about it, man. I'll kill you, man. You're gonna. I'm not gonna live with you being like this to me. You can forget that. That's how I'm seeing it, brothers and sisters. And again, this is stories of the lives of the prophet that I'm telling. I'm just putting a little humor behind it. Okay. Cain's jealousy of Abel. Okay. So we move forward. Abel feeling sorry for his brother. Okay, so now they, feel sorry for his brother, replied, it would be more proper for you, my brother, to search for the cause of your unhappiness and then walk into the way of peace. Okay, so now that we know that it wasn't one of those things that said, ah, your sacrifice wasn't, because that's what the story was. At least that's what the story is telling us. That Abel, when he saw that his sacrifice was released, that it says Abel, feeling sorry for his brothers, replied, "It would be more proper for you, my brother, to search for the cause of your unhappiness, and then walk in the way of peace." Peace. Allah accepts the deeds only from those who serve and fear Him, not from those who reject His commands. He said that like like the saints that we have that we see today. Okay, it would be more proper for you, my brother, to search for the cause of your unhappiness and then walk in the way of peace. Allah accepts the deeds only of those who serve and fear Him, and from those who reject His commands, my brother. So that's how it feels. I'm just giving you a current um, feeling of it, so that we just kind of get the story. So then, what happens is the first death. Abel was intelligent, obedient, always ready to obey the will of Allah. This contrasted sharply with his brother, who was arrogant, selfish, and disobedient to his Lord. This is what happens with human beings. And this is where we see the parting. And all of this has to do with, see, they're not saying it, but we should understand that the idea of being arrogant, the idea of being selfish, the idea of being disobedient is the influence of Shaitan, the devil, the influence to the jinn spirit that is in the wrong way that is in each human being. That the whisperer, the whisperer is the helps to support arrogance. The whisperer helps to support selfishness, and the whisperer is one who helps to support disobedience to the creator of the heavens and the earth. It is the whisperer that does that. Abel did not fear his brother's threats, but neither did he want his brother to be hurt. So that's a good man. You know, You know, I'm look, I'm not worried about you. As a matter of fact, I'll beat your behind if I have to. I could beat you behind if I wanted to. Okay, so I'm not worried about you. You my brother. But like I'm concerned about you because like you have this feeling kind of thing going on. So he didn't want his brother to be hurt. Allah had blessed Abel with purity and compassion. So we're talking about two different hearts here. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the way that two different hearts, and this is the analogy that's being used. That's the story that we should get from the idea of Cain and Abel. This idea that is gotten from them. That's how we should look at it. That is the development in the early development of Adam's family as the development of two types of human beings, one who has a compassionate heart and one who has a rebellious heart, okay, which are the two qualities that Adam and Eve had to face in the garden. They had to face that. And so now it has become apparent. They are, I mean, Adam and Eve could actually see this. They could see this playing out in their children. And so you could see why Abel winds up, making the prayer, to God to tell him. And so to make it even more apparent, to even make it more apparent, they were told to make the sacrifice. And it became, and are sinful in your decisions. It is better that you repent to Allah and forget about your foolish threat. But if you do not, then I will leave the matter in the hands of Allah. You alone know, you alone will bear the consequence of your sin, for the fire is the reward of the wrongdoers. End quote. Okay, and I'm doing this here just to give uh, some storytelling expression to the story of 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 um, of Abel, my brother, because that's what he says. My brother, you are deviating from the right path and are sinful in your decision. So just so that you can see this difference, So you will have to bear your sin, for the fire is the reward of the wrongdoers. End quote. The the brotherly plea did nothing to lessen the hatred in Cain's heart, nor did he show fear of Allah's punishment. So it's like he said, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. The fire. I don't care nothing about the fire. What I care about the fire, all I can care about is satisfying me. That's what I care about. Okay, that's basically the attitude that Cain had. Okay, um, and so what winds up happening? Um, even from right here we go. Even familial, even considering the family was cast aside. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So when a person is selfish, when a person is only thinking about themselves, and when a person is only thinking about their own self-satisfaction, he didn't do it, you know, considering his brother, he didn't do it for the satisfaction of pleasing his mother and father. It was all about pleasing him. Listen, I don't want to hear that. That's not satisfying me. And you gonna threaten me with some fire? I'm here. I'm now. I'm living. You know, I'm Cain. I'm the man. What? He don't know nothing about the fire. He don't know. He doesn't know anything about that. But he's walking toward it because the whisperer is leading him toward that. So he didn't even take. In other words, he's saying he didn't even take the family into consideration. So even familial, the consideration of the family was cast aside. Cain struck his brother with a stone, killing him instantly. This was the first death and the first criminal act committed by man on earth. When Abel had not appeared for some time, so now there must have been a waste of place when this happened, because it says that he didn't do it in the sight of the family. He did it away from the family. He saw an opportunity. He saw an opportunity to get rid of this goody two shoes. That was his brother that was called Abel. He was pissed off about it. This man, listen, I'm gonna have to live with this guy for the rest of my life. I'm not having that. Let me get rid of him, and then I'm gonna be the man. I'll get whatever it is I want because he won't be here anymore. It was a selfish thing. This selfish desire drove him to kill his brother, to get rid of him. I'm gonna get rid of him, and then and it may have been in a state of rage that it happened. He might have had that kind of uh, uh, that kind of thing may have swelled up in him, and he didn't have no control of it, and he winded up, just like in a fit, and he just took a stone, just hit his brother, and just one time, and boom, the brother died. And it's like maybe if maybe if the brother got up, and maybe he wouldn't have did it again, but the way that it went, he hit his brother just one time, and boom, his brother was gone, and there was nothing he could do to correct it. Now he's got to consider. Now he's got another consideration that he has. It's like, oh wow, uh-oh, it's a uh-oh moment. Uh-oh, the uh-oh moment. It's one of those damn moments. It's like, oh wow. Now it's a realization. I'm sure he didn't necessarily want his brother to die, but in a fit of rage, when we do things in a fit of rage and then we get a bad consequence from it, it's like it becomes a oh wow moment. It's like something you want to take back, and it was something he couldn't take back. Once he did it, it was like boom. It was like Abel, 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 get up, get up. So it wanted to put him in a moment. He had a moment. And now it's a moment of realization. That's what it becomes. Uh-oh. Because again, I don't think he didn't love his brother. He grew up with this guy. Cain grew up with Abel. So there was a love. It's just that what wound up developing in Cain was a selfishness, was an arrogance. And it drove him, especially since he didn't have regard for Allah, especially since he didn't have that kind of regard for Allah, he wasn't listening to his better self. He was listening to his worse self. And in the process of not listening to his better self, the worst self took over and caused him to do something. He wound up picking up a stone and killing his brother. So, um, again, so this is what, so this is the situation. So it's a oh wow moment. Oh wow, look at what I've done. Now his parents don't know about it. Okay, because they're away someplace. That's why I was. Cain struck his brother with a stone, killing him instantly. This was the first death and the first criminal act committed by man on earth. When Abel did not appear for some time, okay, because now what happens is Cain goes back to the family, and the family's looking for, Abel to come back. They saw Cain come back, but they didn't see Abel come back. And this is where the famous line comes in, this famous line that's in Christianity and in the Torah also. When Abel had not appeared for some time, Adam began to search for him, but found no trace of his beloved son. He asked Cain about Abel's whereabouts, and Cain insolently, he was insolent, arrogant. Cain arrogantly replied that he was not his brother's keeper, nor his protector. So that's where, that line comes from. I'm not my brother's keeper. That's where the line comes from in the Torah and Christianity. And we see that also that line comes in even in uh, the traditional story of Islam. That line comes in. I'm not my brother's keeper, but we could see what the situation is. So again, this arrogance that's in Cain, man, is deep. I mean, he did it. It's like, don't ask me about him. From these words, his father understood that Abel was dead and Adam was filled with grief. Meanwhile, Cain did not know what to do with his brother's corpse. And you know what? It's that's an interesting situation because um, he knew where his brother's corpse was. And look, if we talk about the science, if we talk about the science of this thing, there are things that you have to consider. First of all, you kill your brother, you go back, you just leave your brother there, you just kill him. And so what starts to happen is there's a natural decay that's going to start to happen because what we're talking about the body is not fed, the body's just laying there. And so I'm seeing that the body's just laying there. Animals may come by, um uh and other insects and everything. The decomposing situation starts to happen, because the body's just laying there. And so it says, meanwhile, Cain did not know what to do with his brother's corpse. The corpse, okay? Because it was probably flies all around him and, stinking and all the rest of that. And it's like, I have to hide this. I have to hide what it is that I've done. The same thing that happened with his mother and father in the garden when they disobeyed. What did they do? They tried to hide their 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 disobedience by covering up the leaves on their body, by covering up. And so this was the covering up situation. He didn't know how to cover up his disobedience. He didn't know how to do it. So it said that's why it says, meanwhile, Cain did not know what to do with his brother's corpse. He carried it on his back, wandering from place to place, trying to hide it. But his anger had now subsided, and his conscience was saddened was saddled with guilt. He was tiring under the burden of the corpse while he had started to have a stench. There you go. As a mercy and to show that dignity could be retained even in death, Allah sent two ravens that began fighting, causing the death of one. The victorious bird used its beak and claws to dig a hole in the ground, rolled its victim into it, and covered it with sand. Witnessing this, Cain was overcome with shame and remorse. Woe unto me, he said. I was unable to do what the raven has done. That is to hide my brother's corpse. Cain then buried his brother, and that was also the first burial of man. Allah the Almighty revealed, and O Muhammad, recite to them the story of the two sons of Adam, Abel and Cain. In truth, when each offered a sacrifice to Allah, it was accepted from the one, but not from the other. The latter said to the former, I will surely kill you. The former said, Verily, Allah accepts only from those who are pious. If you do stretch your hand against me to kill me, I shall never stretch my hand against you to kill you. For I fear Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Lord of mankind, the Lord of the jinns, and all that exists. Verily, I intend to let you draw my sin on yourself as well as yours. Then you will be one of the dwellers of the fire, and that is the recompense of the polytheists and the wrongdoers. So the self, so the so the self of the other encouraged him and made fair seeming to him the murder of his brother. He murdered him and became one of the losers. Allah sent a crow who scratched the ground to show him how to hide the dead body of his brother. He then the murderer, said, Woe to me, as I am I not even able to be as this crow and to hide the dead body of my brother. Then he became one of those who regretted. And that's in the Holy Quran. That's Surah 5, verse 27 through 31. Let's see something here. Wow, it's 57 minutes have gone past already. So I'll open up the telephone lines if anybody wanted to have anything to say. Surah 5. Uh, that's so Surah 5 is Al Ma'idah. That's Surah 5 in the Quran. Okay. All right. So that's Surah 5. Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's what we So we got a couple of minutes left. The first murder from various hadiths. Okay, so there are some hadiths that also talk about it. Okay, Ibn Abbas and a group of the companions of the prophets, peace be upon them, related that intermarriage of the male and one pregnancy with the female of another has been in practice among Adam's children. This is good because one of the ideas that we talked about when we started talking about the four children uh, that some of us as Muslims didn't understand. Uh, it got into the whole idea of you can't that brothers and sisters can't marry each other. So this is where this is going. Ibn Abbas related that intermarriage of the male of one pregnancy with the female of another had been in practice among Adam's children. Abel wanted to marry Cain's sister, but Cain wanted her for himself because she was very beautiful. Adam ordered him to give her in marriage to his brother, but he refused. So Adam ordered both of them to offer a sacrifice, then went to Mecca to perform the pilgrimage. After Adam had left, they offered this their sacrifice. Abel offered a fat, so now it says a lamb. He was a shepherd, while Cain offered a bundle of his worst grain. Fire descended and devoured Abel's sacrifice, leaving that of Cain's, so he became angry and said, I will surely kill you so that you will not marry my sister. Abel replied, Allah accepts from those who fear him. So that might have had something to do with it too. I'm going to deny him from marrying my sister. That's not going to happen. If I can't have her, nobody will, kind of thing. So according to Al Jafar al Bakar, Adam was watching this offering was sure that Abel's sacrifice would be accepted. Cain complained to Adam that the acceptance was due to his supplication for Abel and that he had not done the same for him. So here it is. This story is saying that Cain pitched a bitch to his father and said that the reason why Allah didn't accept my sacrifices because you put it on Adam, because you prayed for Abel and you didn't pray as much for me. That's what he did. So Cain complained to Adam that the acceptance was due to his supplication prayers for Abel and that he had not supplicated enough for him. So he promised his father to settle the matter between himself and his brother. So one night, Abel was late returning from tending his flock. Adam sent Cain to see what happened to him. When he found him, he glared at him, saying, yours was accepted and mine was not. Abel replied, Allah only accepts from Allah, from God fearing. Cain became angry on hearing this and hit him with a piece of iron. And so now they say a piece of iron. First time they said a piece of, and that was with him, and then killing him. In another version, it was said that he killed him with a rock to the head while he was sleeping. Okay, okay. Let's see. Adam preaches to his children. Adam was utterly grief stricken by the loss of his two sons. One was dead, the other was won over by Shaitan, by the devil. This is what the story says, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. But it's something that we use our Muslim common sense to come to understand. One was dead, the other was won over by the devil. Adam prayed for his son and turned to mundane matters, for he had to toil for his sustenance. At the same time, he was a prophet advising his children and grandchildren, telling them about Allah and calling them to belief in Allah. He told them about Iblis and warned them by recounting his own experience with Shaitan and how the Shaitan had tempted Cain to kill his brother. So see, this is where we're talking about Adam and Hawa, Adam and his mate making a mistake and and seeing the mistake that was made in their own children. It is basically the same thing. It was the same. And so this is how Adam became a prophet. This is what prophecy was about, was to give the message. So he was giving the message to his children and his grandchildren. He was giving them that message about the power of obeying Allah and what would happen if you don't obey Allah. Because it was something that he experienced himself, and it was something that he had witnessed with his own two sons, and what happened, that one had influenced the other and had killed him. He had witnessed this. And so this was what he told his children that his grandchildren, remember that. Remember, we got caught as your grand as your grandfather and grandmother. We got caught, and the same thing happened with your fathers. You know, your one of your fathers killed the other because of this here, because he had been whispered to by Shaitan. So we're going to leave it right here, and I'm leaving it here for a reason, because there's something. The next topic is going to be Adam's successor. This is going to be interesting, because I'm going to add something to this story that's not being told. I'm going to add something to this story that's not being told. Um, which has to do with the next prophet in line, which winds up being Seth. Okay, so that's why we're going to leave it here. Um, Again, we're reading from Stories of the Lives of the Prophets by Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir is lived over like a century ago. Um, I think he lived in the 1400s. I think he lived in the 1400s, and and it may have been, more time than that, but he he studied the Quran, he studied the Hadith, and there's another work that he did. I'll have it for you next time. But this was one of his lesser works that he did, the stories of the lives of the prophets. This was one of his lesser works that he did. But what he did, they were able to, it wasn't in English, it was in Arabic that it was done. And then this has been translated into English. So in the process of the translations, there are things that we have to figure out. Like one said that, like they hit him with a stone. Another one says, no, it was iron or this here. Okay, so we can look past that part. Okay, about it was with a rock that he hit him. No, no, he caught him when he was walking away, and he took a piece of iron and hit him. Look, we can disagree. It can be a difference in the story as far as the piece that was done. With one can say that, like he sacrificed the camel, and the other one said that he sacrificed the lamb. Okay, that was another discrepancy that we saw in the story. The point of the matter is that, there was a sacrifice. Whether it was a lamb or a camel, it don't make any difference. We're not, as far as the translation is concerned, we're not going to make a big thing out of that. We know that the sacrifice was made, and it was of, an animal, whether it was a camel, a sheep, a goat, or whatever. We know a sacrifice of an animal that was made. That's what we know. We know that Cain killed his brother, whether it was with a rock or a piece of iron or whatever it was, whether it was when he was sleeping or whether he was walking away or whatever it was. We know that it was basically the story is saying that, he killed his brother. Bottom line, that's the most important thing. All right. And there was a consequence that happened with that. All right. So that's where we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it right there. And I just want to thank you all for taking the time to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and be here with me for the stories of the lives of the prophets. Sister Deprecia ID, she has her hand up, so I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum, Sister Deprecia. Your microphone is open.
Walaikum assalam to you, Brother William, and to the AM 360 Zoom listenership. I just want to say I really appreciate you. I love the way that you narrate the story, and you make it exciting and interesting, and I do appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I will continue. It just seems to be um, uh that it's just my way. It's just
Yeah,
my way, especially understanding it and putting in it today's terms,
yeah.
utilizing my own imagination of the situation that would happen if it was something that happened today. uh
Okay,
yeah, alhamdulillah, shukran, thank you, sis.
you're welcome.
So, Sister Martha, do you have anything that you wanted to say, especially as far as what's going on a little later on with on American Muslim 360? And to let you know also, brothers and sisters, that at 10 o'clock today on a new day for Al Islam Community Radio, we will have is Sisters Tuesday. And on Sisters Tuesday, Sister Martha and Sister Rashida and the other sisters come together and read from the Quran. You want to say something about that, sis, and about American Muslim 360?
Yes, yes. And first, we are again in the month of Muharram, and the IWDM 50 is upon us. And we want everyone to be aware of that as we are literally turning y'all mind wise and being very aware of where we are in time and reflecting, as you were doing with the stories of the lives of the prophets and our connecting with Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, on the eventual process of that migration. I wanted to share the screen to share the promo for, if I may, William.
Yes, please.
Okay. And I want to share the promo for, oops, hold on one second. It went away from me. Okay. Share, screen, start. And I'm going to go to the promo from this IWDM coming up. Oops. You can see my screen.
Yes.
And here it goes.
Oh, it sounds good.
Gather round, it's time to cheer. 50 years of love and light, we're here. Celebrating legacy, shine.
Well,
Dean's vision, guiding our flight. Hey, it's the IWDM 50 strong in. A journey through the past where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise, we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. Hey. 3 days of joy, a multi-generational call. New leaders emerging, we're growing tall. From community life to human excellence, together we strive to magnify this great existence. Hey, it's the IWDM 50 strong in. A journey through the past where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise and we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. Hey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A cultural extravaganza, performers on stage. Come celebrate our story, help us turn the page. With every heartbeat, we work and play. In the spirit of unity, we chart our way. Hey, it's the IWDM 50 strong in. A journey through the past where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise and we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. So let's raise our production and let the world know Imam W. Dean's leadership will forever glow. Together we celebrate, together we stand. 50 years of guidance, we work hand in hand. Hey, it's the IWDM 50 strong in. Together we'll shine, let the love never end. So let's raise our production and let the world know Imam W. Dean's leadership will forever glow. Together we celebrate, together we stand. 50 years of guidance, we work hand in hand. Hey, it's the IWDM 50 strong in. Together we'll shine, let the love never end.
all right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, All
have
right.
it, y'all.
All right. And,
Alhamdulillah.
and so
And
when
yeah,
will this take place and where?
It will take place August 1st through the 3rd in Philadelphia, the first masjid that Imam actually taught at there taught. And the streets will be closed off at Masjid Allah in Philadelphia.
Yes, and
alhamdulillah.
more information to get more information.
Oh, okay. And this is being promoted by the IWDM community. And hold one quick moment. One quick moment. And me stop sharing.
Yes.
Okay, and yes, IWDM community is meeting every Wednesday now, and then the groups for the decades 75 to 85, 95, 85 to 95, and 95 to 2008, and then the generations after that are all referencing Imam Warthi Muhammad's life, legacy, and leadership and what that means, how we've been influenced by it. And we can show that unity exists. We just have to make the connections with one another. And that's what we will be doing in Philadelphia, making the connections. Others have held reflections of the 50 years of Imam's leadership in other areas. So IWDM is referencing this in the area where Imam taught and Masjid Allah uh, eh, and I say we're turning. Masjid Allah accepted to host it, and conversation was held about monies being spent on hotels, but they could not because of the overflow. They could not just Masjid Allah couldn't handle the overflow, the total. So they went to the hotels only because to hold the banquet. That's what I'm referring to, and an additional presentation by Khalida Akbar will be with vows, and Latifa Hameen will be making a representation there too, all in reference to marriage being that bonding agent and the eventuality of all of the human family. So it's going to be a presentation right across the hall prior to the banquet. So you just come dressed, ready to be for the banquet, but it starts at Juma. And again, August 1st through the 3rd. And all who want to participate, even with the panels that will reflect on the 10-year 75 to 85, 85 to 95, 95 to 2008. It has been working, they've been working since last year, but they're still open for those who want to participate, inshallah.
Okay. Very good. And so again, brothers and sisters, don't forget to join us at 10 o'clock, where Sister Martha, let me ask you, what verses that you all will be doing at 10 o'clock? Are you on mute? We can't hear you.
Surah 2, ayat 131 to 140. Am I right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yes,
Yeah,
131 to 140, everyone. Really interesting is where we do our own, give our perception, our understanding of Quran, addressing some words of Arabian, not, so, there are other scholars, so please, by all means, come, share, and let's have an open discussion so that we keep ourselves moving in the way that Allah wants us to understand the
yes.
Quran revelation. Thank you,
And
William, so much for providing the platform for this.
alhamdulillah. And I just want to say, brothers and sisters, that especially the sisters that may be listening on the platform, it's important because on Tuesdays, our sisters they have the show for with no brothers. They read in Arabic, they read in English, and then have a conversation within themselves about what everything means. And then when we get finished from with the verses from 131 to 140, then after that's done and they have their conversation, then they'll open up the lines, and then you can then the brothers can join in. But it's very interesting. It winds up being very interesting because we get to hear the the ideas, expressions, and opinions and understandings from the Muslim sisters. It's not from the imams, You know, it's not from the imams, it's not from the world-renowned sheikhs, but it's from the sisters. Period. And it winds up being a very interesting perspective. It's not different. If there's a difference, it's I always say it's the difference between red grapes and green grapes. They're all grapes, but one just has a slightly different, taste as far as colors are concerned. 727, your microphone is open. You had your hand raised.
Alhamdulillah, assalamu
727.
alaikum.
Walaikum
Yes,
assalam. Allow.
assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam.
Alaikum
Alhamdulillah, how you doing,
assalam.
brother? We
Yes, sir. Walaikum assalam.
say, wa alaikum assalam, alhamdulillah, and blessed Muharram. Praise be to Allah. Yes, I want to make, on Sundays, the brothers be reading the commentary, man, what the Muhammad, this direction that he had left with him, man, Rana Bisha, he and two other brothers, right? Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
And he said, yeah, he said that the sisters would eventually have their own school of thought. And not only that, he said he would see them as being great scholars in the religion. He said, and this is something he see and then he envisioned.
Yes.
So I wanted the sister know that also. Praise
Yeah.
be to Allah.
Thank you, brother. Like I said,
Alhamdulillah.
and to say that we should be realize that, yeah, I'm using grapes, like you got red grapes and you got black grapes. It's just a little difference. They all grapes, but it's just have just a little difference. It's not that much. It's a little difference. It's the same thing with cats. You got a bobcat and a tiger. They both cats. It's just a little different. They are just a little different. You got horses. I mean, so you could go through Allah's creation. You could go through Allah's whole creation and come to understand that uh and so when it comes to males and females, we are the same, but just a little different. That's just a little different. So we don't want you to think that it's just this drastic, understanding, as far as it's concerned, when the sisters come on and they start talking, but it's just that they're calmer. That's one of the things that I've seen about them. They're calmer and they have a conversation, whereas the brothers come on and it's not they won't have a conversation. The brothers come on, they have a debate. Brothers come on, there's a debate. Yeah, well, you got to consider this, my brother, etc., etc. Anywho, we're at the end of the program. Thank you so very much, brothers and sisters. Whatever that we said, it was always for the purpose of providing information that, and especially from the Muslim perspective, this book, The Stories of the Lives of the Prophets, that's from the Muslim perspective. It follows the same um, idea as far as Adam was concerned with Adam, Cain, and Abel. You'll find that in the Torah, you'll find it in the Bible, you'll find it in both of the books. And the story is just a little different. So we're talking about traditional stories that have been passed down over a period of time, and the way that it is told from the Muslim perspective. And we haven't heard that. We always heard from the Christian perspective because here, growing up as Muslims in America, that's what our forefathers taught us, the Christian perspective. They didn't teach us the Muslim perspective. Did Preacher ID, you had something you want to say?
Please, yes. Did you give me that number once again for your program this
Yeah,
morning?
it's 971 379 9162.
You are a gem. Thank you so kind.
All praises due to Allah. We are all gems. We're all of us just trying to shine the best way we can.
That's right.
All right, y'all. So until we shine best when we can. Until the next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Oh, let me just say this here, Sister Martha.
Yes, sir.
How do I leave the meeting or end meeting for all?
Oh, hold on 1 second. Let's stop live. You can go to more and stop the live, YouTube live, YouTube,
More and
stop live streaming.
Okay, it says docs, notes, whiteboards,